What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video, and today we are going to be rocking my first actual post free agency mock draft. So we're going to be doing 4 rounds of this. There's going to be trades. It's going to be fun, and I want to make this one a little bit different. All right, there's going to be the second pick of the draft that I can guarantee you will be a bit different because I don't want to continue reproducing content for you guys. I want to produce an actually interesting, fun, good interactive content for every single one of you guys, and let's just have some fun with it. All right. So starting off with the number 1 pick, the Jaguars are sitting here and they're like, oh, well, we have the easiest pick in the draft. So that's obviously going to be Trevor Lawrence, right? Again, guys, if you guys are new, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe. And then, of course, we got Discords, Twitter, all that stuff, do scouting reports all the time. We have plenty of interactive stuff going on. So definitely don't miss out on it. But we do kind of have a lofty ass goal of 3K by draft day. Probably won't happen, but I want to be trying to get to reach 3K by at least summertime. So let's try to make that happen. But the Jets are sitting here, and from what it is looking like, the Jets are apparently pretty happy with Sam Darnold. And I always do a draft where I always draft Zach Wilson. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair for me to just continue closing off this possibility that the Jets get a nice ass deal and they trade out. You know, Sam Darnold, again, people love his potential. The NFL loves his potential. I don't. If this was completely what I would do mock, I go Zach Wilson 10 out of 10 times. But for the sake of realism and the sake of keeping things fun, interesting, and invigorating, we're going to have a very interesting trade situation that's going to happen here. And it is realistic. It is realistic that this could happen. But I'm saying that we'll see what happens in the next couple picks. But the Jets are going to be trading back with a team that is hungry like a starving animal for a quarterback like a Panther would. So the Panthers are going to be trading up. I thought about this trade for a bit, and I was like, what if they trade up to 3? I don't think the why am I bugging on their name? The Dolphins are going to be trading out of 3. You know, I think that they're really going to be invested fully on being able to give Tua a full, well-rounded experience. And we're going to see if we can do this for a 1-2 and then a 1-3. So we're not going to be able to. We're going to do the 1-2, 1-2, try to get like a 6th-round return. But for the Panthers, you guys did bring in Cameron Irving. The reason I kept your second-round pick all this time is because like I was like, dude, you need to get a tackle. You need to get something there. So you have something there. Your line, it could use some help. But your quarterback situation, I know you guys are just like, like we need something. And you guys who are saying that you guys are going to get Mac Jones, guys, I mean, what, he coached him in the Senior Bowl and said he liked him? Good. If he's a first-round quarterback, every team should like him. It's not like you shouldn't like somebody. I put it this way for Mel Kiper Jr., another reason why I traded down, because I think Mel Kiper actually knows a little bit more about me, about what front offices think, is that certain players are sideways moves from what you have. Mac Jones is a slightly up sideways move from Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy was a first-round quarterback. He was a really, really good quarterback, and he still is a very solid quarterback. Mac Jones isn't going to give you that much juice. He's not going to be able to win you a Super Bowl, if you guys are getting what I'm talking about, unless your team is fully loaded. If you're going to make it a Jimmy G type thing, then maybe he can bring you to one. But at the end of the year, 31 teams end up disappointed. And it's usually either Tom Brady or else one of these electric quarterbacks, and then there's Nick Foles. God only knows what happened with that end up being the true champion. So why be stuck with a guy who's not going to really win you any games, but he probably won't lose you any either, when you can't, like, why not just go balls to the wall? That's what I'm saying. Why not get a guy who could actually win you a championship? Again, you could go tackle again with Cameron Irving being there later on, but I think that you guys love Zach Wilson, and plus, it's been a while since I've gotten a Zach Wilson trade up in here. You know, it's fun. It's fun, and Zach Wilson, again, he's going to look damn good in the Panthers uni. You guys have a solid enough wide receiver core. I mean, solid enough. You have a great offensive coordinator, too. And he's going to – Joe Brady, because, again, I actually heard this. I thought it was interesting. I heard that Trey Lance is more pro-ready than Zach Wilson because of the scheme they used. That's something I can understand. I don't think talent-wise he's ready. I think he's more raw than Zach. But I think a guy like Joe Brady can get Zach Wilson into more of an NFL-type scheme and maximize his potential. Then when Zach is feeling a bit better, then move off him. I think Trey needs a little bit more coaching, and switching offensive coordinators, not my vibe. Being able to get this, it's a 1-2-1-2. A team like the Panthers, that's going to be perfectly fine. I think that if we do trade down in later rounds and acquire even more draft capital in the future, I think that would honestly be the best option for this team. They got guys like Hassan Reddick signing. You have lots of weapons. And again, you could be making a push for a guy like Deshaun Watson. That's going to throw a lot of kinks into things. But for right now, we're going to be rocking the Panthers. Zach Wilson. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Let's go into the next pick, which is the Carolina Panthers. Jesus Christ. I've been bugging. The Dolphins. I think I've messed up on the Dolphins twice now. So we already know that Dolphins are going to be something that I'm going to possibly mess up a third time in this video. But the Dolphins are sitting here, and you guys will hear this from me over and over again. Also, by the way, Isaiah Wilson gone. That's a really unfortunate scenario for Isaiah Wilson as well as the rest of the NFL. But do not sell out for a guy that you are not sold on. Tua is a guy who you guys say is your guy. Everybody says it's like Jared Stidham's our guy. Jared Goff's our guy. Doesn't mean anything happens, right? When was Tua at his best? He was at his best in college, right? Obviously. He definitely wasn't the best version of himself last year. So what did he have in college? Amazing weapons. I mean, signing Will Fuller is a pretty good start there. You got DeVonta Parker, Will Fuller, Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden there. You have a pretty solid core, not including Micah. So you got that. Running back. You got Najee Harris there. He had Josh Jacobs. I mean, their running back core could use some help. They're not going that at number 3. Definitely not. If they do, they're absolutely insane. So he also had a really good offensive line. And this offensive line has a lot of pieces. Austin Jackson will be developing into his second year. Everybody knew that he was going to be a developmental prospect. So it's not going to be a surprise that he might take a big jump this year. However, we can't guarantee that, for one. Number 2, Robert Hunt, it should be a guard. He is as much talent as we want to say he does, but he's better at guard. I firmly believe that after looking at who he was at Louisiana. I think he's a perfect guard. Solomon Kinley, I think you can kick the left guard if you want. You can keep Eric Flowers there. Center, I think that might be a little bit of an issue. I believe Ted Karras is in New England, but that's something that we can solve later on. We're not going to get a center here. That right tackle spot's something that's a huge issue, guys. And Penei Sewell is not going to take that. But a raw prospect like Austin Jackson, who can still learn, will. If you guys want Tua to actually work, don't get him a weapon. Get him a line. The guy is not, we're already concerned about his injuries. So why not make sure he's protected? Penei Sewell also can grow. Within probably 1 to 2 years, you could probably have the best offensive line in the league. Just watch. We'll make it happen. But again, I think that this is a guaranteed deal if the Jets don't take Zach Wilson at 2 and the Dolphins get a huge ass fucking deal. Under the situation, this is 100% the pick. I love it so much. It's my favorite pick in the entire draft. Hands down. I think this needs to happen. So that's my little twist into it. Now, here we go. Falcons. I would go quarterback 10 out of 10 times here until you restructured Matt Ryan. And now it's kind of a bitch to move off of Matt Ryan. He will be able to be released in 3 years without completely destroying your team. What this communicates to me is, hey, we have a lot of more issues maybe that we can fix on the defensive side. Let's trade down here and let's get a lot of draft capital because there's some good quarterbacks left on the board. You got Trey Lance and Justin Fields here. Yeah. So that's a really, really good trade option right there. And again, there's also guys like Kyle Pitts there. So the question is, who is going to be taking a quarterback? Probably a team right here. Not this team. Probably not this team. If Trey Lance is there, I don't think they take him. Seriously, don't. This team, maybe. So I honestly don't think a team is going to really want to trade up with Atlanta for a quarterback when they think that they could probably get a better deal down the line. Again, trying to put my own little twist into it. You guys might not like that at all. But I think a team is going to be trading up. And actually, it's the Jets. The Jets are moving back up, all right? So, again, if we want to analyze what the Jets did in free agency, let's look at the Jets. Did they get a tight end? They got Tyler Kroft, for Christ's sakes, okay? You really, no. Tyler Kroft's there. We just picked up 2 firsts and 2 seconds. So what can we do? Can we offer a first and a second-round pick to move up? Yeah. So what did we end up getting out of the deal? We ended up trading down to the 4th, to end up picking up an extra first as well. I'm pretty sure that's all we got, right? We got an extra first and an extra second next year just to move down 2 spots. That's a pretty good deal to me. So basically, you're not really giving up jack shit. So the Falcons have accepted the offer and have allowed us to take. They're going all in, guys. Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I think that if you really want to give Sam Darnold all the weapons in the world, I mean, tight end is probably the most useful position, arguably in the NFL. That's been underrated. You know, you look at Kelsey, you look at Kittle. Like, they're both elite check down options who have a lot more talent than what we would like to give them credit for, saying that they're a tight end. So Kyle Pitts is just in that same realm. Again, this was a trade I thought up of for a little while now, and I couldn't have obviously an in-division trade for a guy like Zach Wilson or else Justin Fields. But this was something I thought of, and it's not that bad of a trade. I mean, the Jets get extra draft capital. Again, you don't need that much draft capital. You trade down and still select one of the top 3, arguably, guys in the draft. It's a pretty good idea. So you got an extra first and extra second next year too. You have 3 firsts and 2 seconds. Pretty good deal. The Bengals are sitting here and they're like, okay, well, we're going to get Jamar Chase, right? Like, let's sell out. This is talking about sell out. Sell out for a guy you know. We know Joe Burrow is going to be an absolute beast. I can see the Bengals trading down for Rashawn Slater here as well. However, I think that you can get Jamar Chase. We want to see what they did in free agency. Let's look. Bengals. So what did they get? Did they get a wide receiver? No. Okay. That makes sense. So obviously, people were thinking that Jamar Chase could be the number 3 pick in the draft. I don't like that. DeVonta Smith, by the way, weighed in at 170 today. He lost 4 pounds. Should be gaining 4 pounds, but still. Penei Sewell obviously should be the pick here, but definitely Jamar Chase could have been potentially that pick. Ended up not being that way. Now the Eagles are stuck here, and they're like, dude, do we go Justin Fields? Do we go Trey Lance? No. The GM was like, I mean, the owner was like, dude, we're sticking to Jalen Hurts. And you know what? You're going to get a boatload of compensation for it. The team has a lot more needs than a quarterback, guys. Your offensive line is pretty much all dead. Jason Kelce probably should retire. You know, he's definitely of that age, around like 34, 35 years old. He's getting very old. And also, I mean, again, Brandon Brooks coming off an injury. Lane Johnson, he's pretty damn solid. But even Brandon Brooks is getting up there in age, man. Like, your entire offensive line still needs some more youth pushed into it. Your wide receiver core is okay. Tight end core is probably going to be in shambles soon. There's a lot of issues here. And again, I would love to have gotten Kyle Pitts, but we are trading down with a team that wants a quarterback. That team's the Denver Broncos. So we're going to trade down, but we're not going to give up that much, right? We want to make sure that the Eagles can still get a high-end player. And I want to keep this fun. I want to keep this interesting. So I'm going to be offering a next year first along with this. That's right. The Broncos are going to be giving up a first because the Eagles are like, dude, we're getting 2 firsts from multiple teams. Now the Eagles can get 2 firsts to move back 3 spots. And that might not seem realistic until you think, oh, shit, what if the Patriots are offering 2 firsts, 2 seconds? The Eagles are probably like, why not take that? You know, that's a great deal. So they're going to be on the phone. This is going to be a competition because Justin Fields is on the board. I'm not letting him fall past this point. The secondary's fixed for the Broncos. They got to just go balls to the wall and say, fuck it. Big fan of that. Big fan of that pick. Now the Lions are sitting here and they're like, oh, well, we get Jaylen Waddle here, but there's still Trey Lance on the board. Like, there might be a team that wants him, right? So when we look at it, it's like, okay, who wants another quarterback? Because again, there's a lot of teams that just need a quarterback. We can even look at Washington, who would want to get a Trey Lance. Don't think so. Bears, not going to trade in division. This could be a good spot to potentially trade down for a team that wants somebody besides Trey Lance, but I don't think so. I think a team's going to want to be like, dude, we can get Trey Lance at this spot? Yeah. And, I mean, we could even see the Eagles move back up. We could see another 3-way trade here, but not really in the mood to do that. That doesn't seem very realistic to me. Niners, I think this could be a more realistic jump for the Niners, but I also think that they're not built for a guy like Trey Lance. I mean, freaking Shanahan hasn't worked with somebody like Trey Lance since RG3. Okay, that didn't go over well, but that's injury. That's nothing against Shanahan right there. But there are teams that could move up. One team's the New England Patriots, and I genuinely think this is going to happen. The Patriots are just saying a fuck it. They're just going all in. They're just saying we're going all in, and they're going to be trading a first, and then a next year second. We're going to trade actually a 2 firsts again in order to move up. And we're going to offer a 3rd round pick and swap. We're going to get our 4th round, 10 to 4th round pick in return. The Patriots are going all in, guys. And you see from their draft philosophy, they told Cam, you are probably not going to be the starter. You may not be the starter. You'll probably be the starter. He's in a contract. We can just cut him. It's $5 million. Trey Lance is still on the board, and it's built for him. That is why I love this fit. It is built for him. They said, you know what? We could have taken Ryan Fitzpatrick. We could have taken Tyrod Taylor. We could have taken somebody else that doesn't fit a Trey Lance type of game plan. Andy Dalton, especially. I was not thinking of Tyrod Taylor, but Tyrod Taylor isn't the same type of player that Cam Newton or Trey Lance is. But they went Cam Newton. And maybe it's because of the money. Don't think so. They still have some money left over. I think they still have like 15 mil left in the cap. They are deciding that they are wanting to go all the way on a semi-mobile quarterback or a mobile quarterback. That's Trey Lance. And with a team like this where Cam is getting a little bit slow, do you want to put in a guy like Jarrett Stidham? No. You want to put in a guy like Trey Lance. And this team has spent like $250 million in like one day or something like that. You don't let that go to waste by getting anybody, someone who can actually take your team to the promised land. Cam Newton's going to be a great mentor for Trey Lance, by the way. Huge fan of it. Honestly, this was one of my, I actually just love these trades. I know it seems a little bit unrealistic with how many there are, but again, I've heard from NFL scouts myself when I asked them saying that, dude, there will be possibly all the quarterbacks gone by this time. That's a legit thing to worry about. So with the Falcons on the board, let's check what they've done in free agency, guys. So let's see, the Falcons. What have you done? Absolutely jack shit. So when we see it, we see edge here. I was thinking about trading down for Azeez Ojulari. There was something that went in my head, but I don't think so. You guys still have a cornerback issue. You still have a safety issue. I legitimately think that a guy like Patrick Surtain could survive in this division. Think about the wide receivers. You got DJ Moore. DJ Moore could definitely potentially toast a guy like Patrick Surtain. But if Surtain gets his hands on him, I think he'll be fine. You look at Robbie Anderson. He can also torch, but again, we could also look at a team like the Falcons and say, you can get some safety help, you'll be fine. Thanks to that, honestly, I've convinced myself into Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley has the highest ceiling in the draft. The Falcons traded down and got a shit ton of draft capital in order to be able to feel comfortable selecting a guy like Caleb Farley, who could potentially be a bust. Now, it's not very first year GM / new head coach type of idea where you roll the dice on somebody who's very easy and going to be very high floor. But Caleb Farley has the speed. He has the makeup. He has everything that you want to be a potential starting cornerback in the NFL. And the Falcons desperately need it. They've gone that route multiple times. They just won it last year. And I don't think that A.J. Terrell is the complete answer. And again, there are still holes. Isaiah Oliver, God only knows what the hell you're going to do with him. But Caleb Farley, to me, cornerback has been a huge issue, and you haven't addressed it in free agency. Address it here with somebody who could be a really big impact. Plus, you can rotate one of your guys like Isaiah Oliver back to like a free safety since you guys lost DeMonte KZ. Now, with the Eagles sitting on the board, this is a good spot for you guys to look at options like DeVonta Smith. Now, you have guys like Travis Fulgham on the roster, Jalen Reagor. This is a good spot to be able to have somebody who's a little bit more thin that you can keep on the outside. This is a good spot for it. I'm a big fan of it. I honestly think this is a really good pick. Now, you guys might not, and that's okay. But, I mean, you guys might want Jalen Waddle. I have Jalen Waddle ahead of DeVonta Smith. I just think Jalen Waddle's role is already taken up by Jalen Reagor, and it's a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen there. DeVonta Smith could be a true outside threat and give a little bit of separation to a guy like Jalen Hurts, who could really use it. He could really use it. I'm giving DeVonta Smith to the Eagles. Again, you guys are probably saying we should have just drafted a quarterback for the Eagles. But you guys just got 2 firsts and DeVonta Smith. It's a pretty good idea. Big fan of it. Cowboys sitting on the board. So, again, we could go Patrick Surtain here. Not vibing with it. Really not vibing with it at all. I was honestly thinking about potentially trading up to 8 with the Giants for a player who I honestly would have selected at that spot. And that's Rashawn Slater. I think that the Niners are going to be a little bit chill on the trade up situation, though. If we're going to be honest, I think they might be a little bit chill. But we could see a team try to trade up to the Cowboys spot for a quarterback Unfortunately, I'm not seeing, because we have potentially, well, we could see one team, potentially two teams, potentially three teams that could even take a corner. I think that the Cowboys really need to get a corner. Again, we want to see what they've done in free agency, and they've gotten pretty much everything. I mean, what, Jordan Lewis? Okay, good, nice. You have one corner besides Anthony Brown. You need a quarterback pretty badly. So honestly, as much as I want to do a trade here, we cannot let go of J.C. Horn. You guys who like Patrick Surtain, again, we'll find out tomorrow whether that was the right pick. Regardless, I think Patrick Surtain, if we could swap Horn and Surtain if Surtain ends up running in the 4.4s. So J.C. Horn, 4.41 speed, super young, super athletic. I mean, he's just an absolute beast. And I think that you guys really need to understand how good of a player he is. He's not going to be an effective guy in the run game. That might be a problem with a guy like Saquon Barkley in the division. However, I think it's still a really, really good option. With the Giants on the board, this to me is the easiest pick apart from pick number 1. That's Rashawn Slater. You know, you have now a left tackle. You have a pretty good right tackle as well. You have I'm pretty sure your center is pretty meh, but you have a solid, I believe, left guard. Is it a left guard or a right guard? I think Zeitler was a right guard, and then Bitonio was a left guard. So you might be gone of a right guard. Who cares? You have a big hole on the offensive line, and you're devoting a lot of money into that offense. We're going Rashawn Slater here to be able to fill up any role that you want, center or guard. I'm a big fan of this fit right here. People don't. I saw it on a TDN mock draft. And I was like, wow, I actually love that fit. That's a great idea. So now we're going to be rocking with it. The Niners sitting on the board, and well, there's a couple ways that we can go. We can go a guy like Surtain. We can go a guy like I don't think you guys want to go Waddle. You guys could. That would be very interesting. You guys could be going Mac Jones here. Again, I think it's a sideways move at best. Again, you guys are not trying to. I don't think you're shipping out a Jimmy G anytime soon. If you do, Mac Jones would be a really good option here. I understand that, but I honestly think either corner or quarterback. Corner or interior offensive line is the way to go. And I think that, honestly, there's teams that are going to be trying to get they're going to be trying to move up, but I think that it's not comfortable enough with Arizona sitting right there for us to not do anything except take a corner here. Surtain will be good in this because the scheme allows corners who are slower, Richard Sherman, to be able to play at a very high level. Again, it's a scheme that doesn't really fit the need of using high-end corners, but I don't think the Niners fans are going to be too pissed about it. You know, you guys could get an interior offensive lineman later on. I think that is a huge need for your team. We might even trade up for one. Keep posted for later in the round, but I'm trying to be a little bit more in depth with this mock draft because I've been a little bit out of the depth so far, but Surtain's a must for me. Surtain's definitely a must for me. We still have some really good guys on the board, by the way. So we're going to definitely see them fly off sometime soon. But speaking of a guy who should be off the board, it could be Christian Darrisaw. Looking at teams who could take a tackle, I see 17. That team should probably take a tackle. That team could take a tackle. So I want to trade down with the team who could take a quarterback, but I'm not really vibing with it. We honestly could see a three-way trade here again. You guys don't probably like the three-way trades, but if we're going to be honest, it's exactly what's going to happen. We're seeing the Bears trade up to 13 for Mac Jones. Yeah, I know. You got Andy Dalton, but I mean, are you serious? They said it's my job. My ass, bro. Like, I'm sorry, homie. Like, you are not going to be the starter. You are going to get your ass sat because you are pretty much their last option. The Bears showed that they really wanted to move up. So apparently it's very unlikely for us. Okay, so I just want to make sure. So the Bears are going to have to offer a 1 and a 2 to move up. Now, the Bears are lacking a wide receiver. But luckily, this draft is pretty good with the depth. So we'll see possibly if the Bears can move up. We could see the Bears just be like, we want to actually put in maybe a next year second and fourth or maybe a next year second and this year fourth or fifth in order to try to finesse the system. We could see that. So I'm going to be putting in that next year 4 in order to give the Chargers probably a move back option. I think it's bullshit. The Chargers are trying to win now. They have a really good roster and they're going to be putting it up. We're giving a first and a second. All right. We're going to be moving all the way up with the Chargers because you got to give up your stuff for Mac Jones. All right. Your tackles might be a cap casualty, Bears, but I think that getting a Mac Jones is desperately needed. Also, I was thinking about even moving up for a cornerback if the Niners had passed on him, but you guys have to take Mac Jones. Like your scheme is pretty much built for Nick Foles, Mac Jones, Andy Dalton. So just actually get someone who can start. Mac Jones can start. I'm a pretty big fan of the idea that he can start. Not a big fan of his personality, but you can rock with it. Now with the Vikings on the board, there's a lot of guys on the board that I would really like to take. You guys don't really have a slot wide receiver. Let's see what you guys did in free agency, all right? Because I want to make sure you guys all understand what happened in free agency. By the way, amazing signing right there. You guys don't have a slot wide receiver that is worth jack. Jaylen Waddle, Justin Jefferson, and wait. Adam Thielen. Yeah, I'm sold. Jaylen Waddle right here. Did not want to take him because of the fact that, there were guys like Elijah Vera Tucker there that could have been a really good fit. But I don't think you can pass up on it. So Lions are sitting here. They're like, well, shit. So I think that the best move right now is either to move down or get a captain of the defense. Again, let's check really quickly what the Lions did for their team. And, of course, we just got kicked out of being able to see what they actually did. But right here, did they get a linebacker? No. They lost their starting linebacker and didn't pick up one. That, to me, is a problem. Micah Parsons, again, apparently this organization's a really good one. So I'm going to believe 100% that they are. And I'm going to be able to select a guy like Micah Parsons. I was thinking about going JOK there as well, guys. Just because you guys need a slot corner as well. I think we can get Parsons in a slot corner and be able to deal with that. You guys, this defense needs to be just perfect for the Lions. And you guys got a lot of draft capital for it. And now you can build out the offensive line for Jared Goff, for any other quarterback that you want to bring in. It's a big, big plus. Now with the Cardinals on the board, unfortunately, the corners are gone. I would love to have given you guys a corner. Greg Newsome is somebody who I'm probably going to try to trade back for, by the way. Looking at the guys who are on the board, though, you got Christian Darrisaw here. And this is where I could see a team moving back up. It's the Chargers. We see that the Titans are sitting here. They're like, well, we're going to try to trade up. But the Chargers like, dude, now we can do our three-way trade scenario and be able to move up. Also, it's not even in the same conference or same division. So we're going to be able to move back up. And we're going to be able to spend a third-round pick that the Cardinals lost in order to get there. And we're going to try to ask for maybe a seventh round in return. We're not going to do that. We're going to give a third. So basically, the Bears give up quite a bit to move up. So the Chargers can move down 3 spots to get Christian Darrisaw. Who are you going to get anyways? I love it. Christian Darrisaw right there. Because, again, the Raiders probably were trying to move up as well. But the Chargers are like, oh, we got to jump the Raiders right now. Christian Darrisaw is an absolute beast, and we cannot let him fall any further. Want to make this draft a little bit different for you guys who are like, wow, this is definitely a different draft. With the Raiders sitting here on the board, you guys got to get that Sam / I think it was a Sam blitzing linebacker that you guys are missing right now. Line is a huge issue. But again, also your defense is as well. You lost LaMarcus Joyner. Who signed LaMarcus Joyner? I'm pretty sure I just saw somebody sign LaMarcus Joyner. Who was this? It was the Jets. Great freaking signing. I thought it was the Jets, but I mean, JOK can play safety. He can play slot corner. He can play linebacker as a Sam role that can blitz. He does fit what you need. So rock with him. With the Dolphins on the board, again, we got our future offensive tackle. Now it's time to get some pass rush potentially. Let's see teams that could get pass rush. We could see even we could see the Colts trying to get it, but I don't vibe with that. We could see the Titans still trying to get it. We could see the Jets trying to move up and get it. So, this is a tough one, guys, because I really just want to pull the trigger on an edge right here. I think I might. And this is coming from my personal board. I look at Kwity Paye and I see explosiveness. I see length. I see potential moves, and I see someone who's raw that can develop into a top 10 prospect in this class. I think that under a guy like Brian Flores, Kwity Paye is going to be excellent. You guys lost Lawson to the Jets, speaking of, and I think it's time for you to just be like, whew, we got him. We got him. With the Washington football team on the board, you guys are probably what do we get? Again, Bateman probably is going to be my pick here. But I'm going to do a one-pick swap, and that's the Cardinals moving up. just to make sure that they get their guy. Cardinals are moving up with Washington football team. We're going to pick crazy here. We're going to trade crazy, okay? Like, just deal with it. We're going to try to swap in. We can't even swap in a fifth. Dude, Washington's going to be stingy, aren't they? We're going to toss in a next year 4 in this deal to try to push it through. I think that's fair. It's fair to move back one damn spot, okay? And we're going to be picking up Greg Newsome the second. Big fan of him. He ran 4.31 apparently. He's a really, really good corner. And again, losing Pat Pete hurts. Big time. So being able to trade back, get extra draft capital, get our 3rd rounder back for Rodney Hudson. By the way, excellent trade. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. So Washington's sitting here now, and they're like, okay, well, we pretty much did everything that we needed to. We got a quarterback that potentially can win us games. He beat the Patriots in the playoffs, right? Remember that? That was the BS OT coin toss call. We're not going to get a tackle, guys. Like their tackles are 29 years old and under contract for at least a year, if not 2 more. Linebacker wise, that would have been nice. I was thinking about even trading up for a linebacker. I think this is a good spot to trade back. Wide receiver wise, we could go after Rashod Bateman. I think the NFL teams are going to be a little bit lower on Rashod than what we believe. I'm seeing a lot of NFL analyst scouts that are just saying like, dude, we're pushing him into the 40s. So if that's the case, I think he might be a later 20. That might make me feel a little bit more comfortable. So looking at the guys on the board, I see Elijah Vera Tucker here. I see a team that might want to move up for him. That's the Jets. The Jets are probably going to try to move up here. Let's just make sure that the Jets didn't do anything crazy at guard. They didn't. They lost Elfline, who they brought in last year, remember? And we are going to be moving. There's a lot of trades, guys. But it is realistic here. The Washington football team is going to try to accumulate some picks, and the Jets have been very aggressive. So we're going to trade a 4. That makes absolutely no sense. We're going to send in a 3rd and then ask for like a 7th in return. Because if we did a next year 4 to move up 1 spot, yeah. So at this spot, now we are going to be probably edge is not a need. You just got Lawson, dude. So we're going to get AVT here. AVT is going to be an excellent option for this squad. Be able to protect Sam Darnold. Again, that should be the mantra of this organization. Van Roten's not my guy. Just not vibing with him. So I'm going to be going AVT to protect at right guard. He also has the potential to kick out George Fant. So I like the versatility there as well. The Jets got to make sure that they get their guy. And, of course, the Colts are sitting here, and they're like, wow, we got a plethora of dudes. Love it. Again, tackle depth will probably push the guys down the board like we saw with Tristan Wirfs. Samuel Cosmi, to me, has to be this pick. Excuse me. I'm personally a guy for Liam Eichenberg, but I think that's a little bit unrealistic. Tevin Jenkins, he's not built for a more mobile Carson Wentz. Samuel Cosmi, he's just a more stable prospect. I think there's nothing that wows me about Samuel after doing my own personal scouting report on him. I think that he's just definitely really good. And I think that you just need to sit with that. And the Titans are sitting here and they're like, ooh, I know you guys were bringing on, you guys are like talking to a certain wide receiver. I don't know if you signed him yet, but the Titans have definitely, they brought on Josh Reynolds for a 1-year deal. So it's not long-term. What I think is you either go tackle here because you got Kendall Lamb. Really, guys? You guys you went from Conklin to Lamb. Really hurts. You guys could get a right tackle here in Tevin Jenkins. I wouldn't mind that at all either, by the way. I'm definitely thinking about it, but your corner course, it hurts. It hurts, guys. You lost Malcolm Butler, not to mention Adoree Jackson. You replaced it with Janoris Jenkins and Kevin Johnson? Come on, guys. Come on. If you guys want to compete, you guys got to go corner here. And we could be going Eric Stokes here. I don't think he's a good man corner, though. I think we're going to have to wait till next round for it, guys. So this is going to be a good spot for Rashod Bateman. Pairing him up with Josh Reynolds. You can put him, honestly, in the slot if you want to. Pairing him up with Josh Reynolds as well as A.J. Brown, that's a great pairing. I think you just have to go with it, man. It hurts. It hurts, but, there's just – Eric Stokes is not a man corner. You just can't put him in a man scheme if he's not a man corner. This is definitely more of a Belichickian scheme, and it's just not a vibe. Now, Washington staying on the board, and they're like, well, so much for Bateman. Who cares? We still can get a high-end linebacker with a guy like Zaven Collins or Nick Bolton, right? So you guys are valuing more speed guys, and I think that maybe this team is actually pretty damn stacked. That's a problem. Your team is too good for basically what we're trying to look for. I'm honestly down to Nick Bolton or Zaven Collins here because again, I can see honestly the next pick could be really, really potentially one of these two guys. Knowing the Steelers who are trying to win now and just lost one of their starters, I think that a good idea would be to go Zayvon Collins. His quick twitch isn't very good, but Cole Holcomb I know is really talented. So if we look at the division, you got Saquon Barkley there, you got Ezekiel Elliott there, you got Miles Sanders there. Zayvon Collins, also an elite coverage linebacker. I think in a division which is also going to be pretty pass heavy with a lot of quarterbacks that can turn over the ball, Zayvon Collins is going to be an excellent choice here. He can also pass rush. So I'm a big fan of adding him to a very, very stacked team. Very, very big fan of that. I was thinking Rashod Bateman potentially there, but got taken before. I don't plan this video out, guys, by the way. Don't plan it out at all. So the Steelers are sitting here. They're like, shoot, we're just going to go either Tevin Jenkins, which, again, we already got right tackle. But we could also go Jalen Mayfield. Not really vibing. He was also right tackle. But we can go Eichenberg or Reduns here. And to me, Eichenberg is the best guy day one. I think the Steelers are going to fall in love with the Notre Dame tackle. Now, with the Jaguars, you just did franchise tag Cam Robinson there, right? Doesn't really matter to me. I think Jalen Mayfield is young enough to develop, and he can also play right tackle, which is great. You can put him at right tackle if you want. You can use him at left tackle if you want. You can use him at the guards if you want. That is going to be great. He's young. He can develop. This team's not ready to win right now, but it could be soon. Big fan of Jalen Mayfield in the squad. Next with the Browns. This is probably arguably one of my favorite picks in the draft. Azeez Ojulari is still here. I understand that. But Gregory Rousseau times, yes, Myles Garrett makes one of the most deadly pass rushes in the entire league. Big fan of that. Super raw prospect, but who better to learn from, right? Ravens sitting on the board, and I mean, we still got Tevin Jenkins here, guys. Like, what the hell? We still get Tevin Jenkins. So for teams who are trying to move up, you still got Najee Harris. You got Trayvon Merrick here as well. I can see a team trying to move up because I don't believe that the Ravens are not an edge round one type of team. They usually aren't, and I don't think Azeez Ojulari really is valued as high as people think. He's young, he's explosive, but again, he is a little bit stiff in the ankle, and that's a big problem. It's a big problem for a team that really wants a young guy round one, and the Ravens are ready to win now. So honestly, it's a team that could use either a safety or an edge player. It's the Falcons. The Falcons are going to be trading up with the Ravens here. Again, we're doing a shit ton of trades, and it's just going to be, we can call this the trade happy draft. Finding the Falcons is probably the hardest part of this entire draft. So we also got a second round pick, but we're going to use our first to move up. And we'll see if we can toss in a fourth here just to give the Ravens some extra draft capital. You're going to get your guy there, by the way. I just have a feeling that Terrace Marshall Jr., who would be my pick, is going to be there, allowing them to get Azeez Ojulari, who was going to trade back for in the first place. Big fan of that pick. Also, jumping ahead of a team that could honestly use an edge player. So now with the Saints on the board, you could go Trayvon Merrick still. You could also go a second wide receiver. I don't think Terrace Marshall's the right guy for your squad. Really don't. I do think Kadarius Toney is that different to where a guy like Jabu Winston can check it down to and stop throwing 30 picks. Big fan of Kadarius Toney on the squad. The Packers are sitting there, they're like, shoot, what do we get? Because we got Nick Bolton, we got Reduns, we got Tevin Jenkins on the board. I don't know about you guys, but I might be a little bit intrigued here because you need an interior offensive line as well. This is very interesting. You guys could also use a cornerback, by the way. Eric Stokes would be a great option here. Let's look at what the Packers have done in free agency. By the way, it's nothing. Not Giants. What the hell? Packers. Yeah, you guys have done jack. So you guys lost your starting center, which I believe Elton Jenkins is scheduled to move into center there, who is also a very talented guard. You guys are losing guard, and then you lost Rick Wagner, if I'm not mistaken, as well, who's your right tackle. Dude, this might just be best player available. Cheesehead fans, you guys aren't going to like it. Tevin Jenkins. Really talented tackle who can be a guard. I think Aaron Rodgers has a mobility to kind of outrun a type of guy like Tevin Jenkins, but I mean, Tevin was pretty damn solid for Spencer. What's his name? It's not Spencer Sanders. Yeah, he's really fast. So if he's able to do it, I think he'll be able to protect Aaron Rodgers, and you got to invest something on that team, man. I'm telling you, this wide receiver class is really deep. Stay with me on that, but huge fan of that. The Bills are sitting here, and again, I don't think Jalen Phillips is the right option because you guys are in win now mode. And I love Jalen Phillips. I think he's a top 10 to 12 talent in this draft class. Those concussions scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, as a guy who's had plenty of them myself and quit sports due to it, like UCLA medical staff are the best in the world, arguably. And they told him you need to retire. You can't take that in the first, man. It's really scary. So we're going Eric Stokes here. to provide a true cornerback too. I know, I'm pretty sure you guys brought back Levi Wallace. So we're going to check just to, of course, doing the Command F is beautiful, right? Mitchell Trubisky. So yeah, you brought back Levi Wallace on a 1-year contract. Okay, big freaking deal, guys. You want to be able to have somebody over like a good period of time. Could have went Jalen Phillips here, going Eric Stokes. I think that he ran the 4.2s, guys, and he's a really good zone cover corner. I was thinking about even moving up with the Bills for Eric Stokes, but it didn't happen. Now with the Chiefs here, you guys have to go tackle all the way. Left tackle, right tackle, don't care. Only tackle left. Dylan Radunz, heard it all. He needs that. There's no other pick besides that. No other pick. So with this final pick, the Bucs are sitting here. It's like, ooh, we got all the running backs in the world, and these teams, there's probably guys that they probably want to move up for, right? And honestly, I don't think that these running backs deserve a potential 5th-year contract. So what's a team that can move up? We can see the Eagles moving out for a linebacker. Nick Bolton's still on the board. We could see a team like the Falcons moving up as well. That could be a huge, huge benefit to the team if the Falcons move up again and then try to select another first round player. Excuse me as I plug my computer in as it says low battery. Do not want to have this dying on me. All right. So there's a lot of places that we could go here. Javonte Williams, another really good player on the board. I think honestly, the Eagles could move up, and we're trying to get Travis Etienne on this squad. So because of that, I think that this is the right move. We're moving back one spot with the Jaguars, moving up with the Buccaneers. Because again, I don't think the value is really that insane. We're gonna give a 5th-round pick for it. We'll put the 145 in there. How about that? Yeah, we're moving up one spot with the Jaguars to make sure, because you got Rashawn Jenkins. We're going to make sure we get Trayvon Merrick as well, who's an absolute stud, by the way. I watched him even more. Absolute stud. Big fan of him in coverage, too. So Rashawn Jenkins and Trayvon Merrick are going to be a really nasty secondary. I know you guys signed one more safety, but, I mean, really, who cares? Trayvon Merrick definitely needs to be the guy there. So let me know what you guys think. It's been an absolute trade-happy draft. I might even call it that, but hit the like button, comment, subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for round 2. Peace.